Hello, my name is Karen Trigg. I have been working with the Legion for the past 5 years, but have been working in architectural ironmongery for 29 years, working with architects, contractors and local authorities. My passion is to provide solutions with the best that budgets will allow. The purpose of this presentation is to show the importance of active and passive fire protection. We will also cover the roles of the responsible person and the golden thread of information. Who is a Legion? A Legion UK specialise in door control solutions, everything from door closers and exit devices to door furniture and residential and commercial locks. As experts in the industry, we recognise that architectural ironmongery plays a critical role in the safety and security of facilities, and we are committed to raising awareness of the importance of correctly specified, installed and maintained door hardware. What is active fire protection? Fire extinguishers, smoke alarms, sprinklers. These are examples of active fire protection, all of which require either human activation or powered activation, either by battery or hardwired. Smoke detectors gives us an automatic audible warning that a fire has started. Sprinklers are quite sophisticated and are designed to be heat sensitive so that the sprinkler only activates when temperatures rise to fire-induced temperatures. Fire extinguishers are a handheld active fire protection device. There are 5 classes of extinguishers, classes A to E. A being used in ordinary combustibles like wood, rubber, paper, as well as some plastic materials. Some extinguishers also have multi-classes of use. What is passive fire protection? Corridor doors, flat entrance doors, riser cupboards. Passive fire protection requires no human intervention or electrical intervention to activate. Fire doors and all hardware associated with the fire door form part of the passive fire protection within a building. They are designed and tested to withhold the spread of fire and in some cases also offer smoke protection. Fires left without restrictions can prove to be extremely costly. In best case scenario, damage to the building may require a partial or full refurbishment, which could lead to additional costs of tenants being rehoused on top of the refurbishment. Worst case scenario, lives could be lost and the building may need to be demolished. Tenants will need to be rehoused for a lengthy period or possibly permanently. Fire doors and their associated hardware form part of a compartmentalisation of a building, limiting the spread of any fire. They are there to limit the damage to a building and not only protect the people within the building, but also give greater protection and time for the fire service to attend. As you can see from the slide, a fire door itself is made up of components. A flush or moulded panel door is made of an outer framing material, door core and an outer skin. The outer skin provides the decorative appeal of the door, whereas its fire resistance depends on the ability of the framing and core materials to withstand fire for the required length of time. The most common types are FD30 and FD60s, tested to withstand fire for 30 or 60 minutes. Each fire door will have its own CE plug, giving full details of the manufacturer, its serial number, its certificate, its fire rating, and this gives complete traceability of the door. What is essential fire door hardware? Hinges, locks or latches, signage, intermittent, and door closers. As you can see from the slide, there are a collection of component products that are essential for the performance of a fire door. For a fire door keep shut, a door closer is required set to a minimum power level of 3. The closer must be able to close the door fully into the frame from any opening angle and be CE certified. Hinges, a minimum of 3 hinges per leaf, must all have the screws firmly fixed and be CE certified. Locks and latches to be fully engaged into the keep or strikes and be CE certified. Intermittent to be fitted around any mortised items on the door, and intermittent seals to the sides and the top of the door. If smoke protection is required, then either brush or blade can be used. Clear signage is important to show the users just what the door should do and be fitted to both sides of each leaf. With this example, the door should be kept shut when not in use. For a fire door keep lock, it is not essential for a closer, but what is essential is a lock and a fire door keep locked sign, notifying anyone using that door it must be kept locked when not in use. With active fire protection, a fully qualified installer is required, and in general, the installer will provide a maintenance agreement to annually service the active fire protection devices. However, with passive fire protection, no qualifications are required for installations, although the fire safety order states they should be installed by a competent person. There is also no service agreement where the installer is required to maintain the passive fire protection within a building. Because there is no legal requirement for fully qualified installers on passive fire hardware, Britain have designed a unique AccuFit template that makes for easy and, more importantly, correct installations on their door closers. Passive fire protection is in use daily and may be used multiple times within a day and thousands of times within a year. With no maintenance in place, the hardware supplied may not perform as it did when new. Doors may become difficult to open or slam shut, causing inconvenience and potential risk to those using them. Quite often when this happens, doors tend to be disengaged, or door closers rather, tend to be disengaged, or doors wedged open, with people not understanding the importance of this protection and what role it plays in the event of a fire. The image on the screen now is a controlled test carried out by the US Fire Service to show the importance of doors being closed. The rooms are back to back in the test, with fire being started across the hallway. It gives a clear, dramatic view of the vital role doors play within buildings. Although the fire hasn't reached either of the rooms, it shows clear indication of how much smoke would have been in the room on the right, giving no protection whatsoever to anyone sleeping in that room. The room on the left shows the door fully engaged into the frame. You can see some damage to the top of the door and the frame, but no smoke or flame has entered this room. This US campaign was called Close When You Doze. The images you are now seeing on the screen show a set of double corridor doors. The image on the left was taken from the fire side of the corridor, and the image on the right taken from the non-fire side of the door. You can clearly see the damage done by the fire. These doors had been wedged open. The fire would have spread further down the corridor. The fire doors in this instance performed as they should, compartmentalising the fire. The closers were active in shutting the doors into the frame. When the temperatures reached a certain point, the intermittent around the sides, middle and tops of the doors would start to expand, filling any gaps around the doors, which then became a solid partition, preventing any fire from reaching the other side. The new fire safety laws, which came into effect on the 23rd of January this year, go some way to addressing the issues of passive fire door inspections being now required by the property management for regular inspections to ensure the fire protection within a building is fully functioning as it was designed to do. In the new fire safety law, it states the responsible person will be the person that has the control of the building. This will typically be the freeholder or managing agents, or for example, a residence managing agent. If any part of the building is a workplace, then the employer will be the responsible person. An example may be that the building has a concierge, so there may be circumstances where there is more than one responsible person. Now, confusion may arise with the term responsible person being deemed as an individual. However, commonly, the responsible person will be an organisation, such as a property company or a firm of managing agents. The duties of the responsible person. Fire instructions for safety instructions must be clearly posted in a conspicuous part of the building and in a comprehensible form for residents to understand. These instructions must cover the evacuation of the building, instructions on how to report a fire, any other instructions that tells residents what they should do in the event of a fire. These instructions should be issued to any resident at periods not exceeding 12 months. And you should also provide relevant information about fire doors. Fire doors should be kept shut when not in use. Residents or guests should not tamper with the self-closing devices. And residents should report any damage or faults to the responsible person immediately. Now, with buildings over 11 metres, additional duties come into effect for the responsible persons. All fire doors in communal areas must be inspected every 3 months. These include doors to stairways, stairway lobbies, cross-corridor doors, doors to storage areas, electrical cupboards and risers. Annual checks of flat entrance doors must also be undertaken. And doors must fully close from any opening angle and fully engage into the frame. Doors designated locked should be kept locked except when in use. The responsible person must also check for any sign of wear or damage to the seals or the door itself. And a record should be kept of these examinations, including any flat entrance door where access was denied. We have a look at some statistics. A recent survey by the British Woodworking Federation found in the education sector, 50% of the people asked were unaware of fire door maintenance procedures. 10% were unaware who's responsible for fire safety, and 40% were unaware of the latest fire safety legislation. In healthcare facilities, the findings were similar. 25% unaware who's the responsible body and what their roles are. 25% unsure where to seek advice on fire door inspections. And in commercial settings, very much the same again. 40% not up to date with fire safety regulations. 25% of the people asked not aware of any fire safety maintenance. And 10% unsure where to seek advice on fire door inspections. So here at Allegion, because we manufacture life-saving products, we understand the importance of fire door safety checks and will issue free of charge to anyone who requests them our gap testers, which also have printed on them the 5-point checklist for anyone to check their own fire doors. The 5-point checklist is simple. Check the fire door certification. This will either be at the top of the door or sometimes at the side. Check the gaps around the door to be 3 to 4 mil maximum. Check the intermittent seals around the sides and the top of the door. They should be intact and showing no signs of wear. Check the hinges. Are all the screws in place and securely fitted? And check the closer. Does the door fully engage into the frame from any opening angle? Any issues with any of the checks can be easily spotted and quickly corrected when you know what to look for. If neglected, these issues may cause fire control systems to fail increasing the risk to both property and lives. As said earlier, a fire door consists of many components, but when it comes to its operation, a fully functioning door closer is essential. A fire door only prevents the spread of flames and smoke if it is fully closed. Relying on building users to do this 100% of the time is not realistic, so door closer technology is built to help with this. The main reasons for disconnecting a door closer is that it's not suitable for the environment or the users. You may consider, for instance, for high use areas such as hospitals or schools, the use of electromagnetic hold open devices that allow fire doors to shut once a fire alarm is activated. These units are linked to the building's fire detection system, which cuts power to the hold open unit, allowing the closer to shut the door firmly into the frame. Cam action closers, on the other hand, are designed to require minimum effort when opening and closing, easing operation for users should a door need to be kept closed. And fitting concealed door closers can dramatically reduce the risk of vandalism to ensure a fire door remains functional. For a standard rack and pinion closer, I would recommend a spring adjustable closer, like a 2003 V. You can vary the strength with a simple Allen key adjustment. There are many door closer brands on the market, but it's important to ensure that, like Britain, they have passed a series of standardized tests to confirm certification and reliability. This also needs to be traceable. The golden thread was implemented by Dame Judith Hackett, who recognised there was a distinct lack of accountability and traceability with regards to fire safety in our buildings. In the contents of a fire safety, a golden thread means a trail of easily available information about products that contribute towards fire safety. It includes details of manufacturing, specification, installation management, and maintenance of all fire safety products in one place. At the moment, the golden thread is not a regulated requirement, but is seen as best practice. For definition, the golden thread will hold information that those responsible for the building are required to show that the building was compliant with the applicable building regulations during its construction, and to provide evidence of meeting the requirements of the new building control route throughout the design, construction, and refurbishment of a building. Identify, understand, manage, and mitigate building safety risks in order to prevent or reduce the severity of the consequences of fire spread or structural collapse throughout the life cycle of a building. Golden thread covers both the information and documents and the information management processes used to support building safety. The golden thread information should be stored as a structured digital information. It will be stored, managed, maintained, and retained in line with the golden thread principles. The government will specify digital standards, which will provide guidance on how the principles can be met. The golden thread information management will apply through design, construction, occupation, refurbishment, and ongoing management of buildings. It supports the wider changes in the regime to support a culture of building safety. Building safety should be taken to include the fire structural safety of a building and the safety of all the people in or in the vicinity of the building, including emergency responders. Many people will need to access the golden thread to update and share golden thread information throughout the life cycle of the building, including but not limited to building managers, architects, contractors, and many others. Information from the golden thread will also need to be shared by the accountable person with other relevant people, including residents and emergency responders. For the future, I truly believe that education is crucial to ensure fire safety within our buildings. We understand as adults the importance of fire alarms, sprinklers, extinguishers, but how many fully understand the importance of our fire doors? Outside the industry, very few. The golden thread should ensure that everyone involved with constructing a building has full knowledge of the structure, its materials, its suppliers, and its products. And with the new legislation now in place, residents should have a clearer understanding of why we have fire doors in our buildings and their importance in making them a safer living and working environment. My hope is that the more people that are educated, the safer our buildings will be. And finally, I would like to thank Sue Corrick and Claire Vanderlaar for their assistance with this presentation. And I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation on active and passive fire protection.
Hi, Karen. Thank you for a brilliant session on the importance of operational fire doors and their hardware. I have a couple of questions for you. So the first is, on the topic of fire doors, another big discussion point that we keep seeing in the industry, especially post-COVID, has been the improper use of fire doors for ventilation purposes. So how can we prevent this?
The signage is important on a fire door. It states fire door keeps shut if you've got a shut door. So for instance, if you're in a classroom environment and you want to add ventilation, you might consider having electromagnetic hold open closers. So they're quite safe in holding open that door, allowing the ventilation. What I used to do with architects is that if I was doing a specification for a school, for instance, I would have a wander around that school to start with. Now, if they had an open class door policy within the school, then obviously if I was going to fit a standard closer on there, they were still going to wedge open their doors. So the option would be electromagnetic hold open closers. It would hold open the door. In the event of a fire, the power is cut to the closer and the door closes, keeping everyone safe within the building, but allowing complete ventilation and an open door policy for the school.
That sounds perfect. So also the images that you showed in your presentation that demonstrated the difference in damage with and without a fire door were very surprising. How many extra minutes does a properly installed fire door give people that could potentially be trapped in a room?
They should withstand the fire for 30 minutes. Minimum fire door protection is 30 minutes. In cross corridor areas, you might have a 60-minute fire door. So where they're spreading with high-rise buildings, for instance, your 60 minutes would give the fire service time to get there. And within your flat entrance door, which should be 30-minute minimum protection, you would have 30 minutes.
Thank you. So lastly, if any of the attendees here today who have seen your session want to know more or find out more from Allegion, which upcoming shows or show will you guys be presenting at?
We're actually at FireX in April in Birmingham. That's April the 19th in Birmingham for FireX. We've got a stand there, so please come along, speak to any of us there. We're more than happy to help you.
Perfect. Well, we'll definitely be there as well. Anyway, Karen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you dedicating another presentation to Fire by Live and helping improve awareness for fire door safety. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.